It's awesome. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I was so like counseling. So someone was in the past week. At that point, I was putting up with my friends. Not like, just have stuff on. I mean, at this evening.
Have a seat.
But I do think something. You know, it's one thing I get. So you have to be accomplished. You have to be for it. Stay like you to say long, right? I would probably understand. How are you?
Yeah, it's like it's piles.
Yeah, it's all this. Yeah,
All
right.
right, so I'd like to kick off with some takeaways that you've had from this morning's session. What's like an aha moment? What's a golden nugget that you've gotten so far? Who would like to share first? No golden nuggets, aha moments, not one valuable piece of information. Julian, yes, let's go, get over here with the camera, come on. So what am I doing? You know what I'm doing? I'm creating, I'm stalling and creating content. That's it. All right, what else am I doing?
Oh, building a relationship with us.
Yes, but what else is actually happening when I ask this? You're, I'm reinforcing the value. So while I'm reinforcing the value, I'm also documenting it to use it outside of the room. So you're helping up with the benefits. Yeah, and I'm doing the social media and I'm doing video content simultaneously. All right, so triple dip. That makes sense?
I could be famous right now.
Well,
On social media.
keep doing it.
Well, I really liked, so one of the, there have been so many overnights, it's been really powerful. But I liked the idea, I'm working on a book right now. I've got somebody helping me write a book, and so we're in the process. But I can start planning that now. I don't have to wait till it's done, right? So that was really good.
Here's the best. Not only can you start playing it, you can start seeing the results prior to the book actually being published. How long have you been working on the book? Honestly.
5 months.
5 freaking months. He's been working on this project and has zero return. You finish that book cover on Monday, you start seeing immediate plus credibility authority. You haven't even published the book.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to explain. That's what I want them to understand.
Right. Thank you.
And you start using it as a lead capture also, because the more you start taking reservations, no money required, nothing. Name, number, email, which you might second as a gift. Start taking reservations, start promoting it. I'm so excited for my upcoming book. If you'd like to reserve your copy, click here. Start promoting, start promoting, start promoting, start promoting. Good job.
So I always felt a bit apprehensive about sales and marketing because I have a core value of being extremely genuine, sometimes to a fault. And so this has helped me reframe everything to where it's a game. It's a game and I'm presenting an illusion, but at the same time, it can be a genuine part of me.
Because you care about supporting people, you're wanting to begin that. Here's the best sales training I can ever give you. If you care about the person that you're working with, and you believe in the product and service they offer, it is your responsibility to get them to buy from you. Because if they don't buy, they can't actually receive their sales credential that you're providing. It's your duty if you believe in it. If you don't believe in it, that's a whole different story. But if you believe in it, you have to help people stop being in their own way of achieving the success in order to achieve what it is that you do. That's why I will sell people to the day they die, because I believe in what I'm doing and I know it's gonna make a difference. I'm not trying to get your money, I'm trying to make a difference for you. Passionately, like, there's nothing that's gonna stop me from doing that. No sale required.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, time out. Then
Go to-
So the difference between value and perceived value. Because we can be the best kept secret of offering all this value, but the perception, just, like it came up this morning, like, okay, this person has a higher perceived value, but I looked at their stuff and it's not so great. Not that you voice that, but in your head, you're thinking, I could do so much more for people and make such a bigger impact for them. But my perceived value may be here, theirs is here, because they're out, they're doing the things, and have the things in place, all of them.
the, for me, the worst part is when you have more value, but just because they have better perceived value, they get business that you deserve.
That's default.
Because it has nothing to do, the buying decision has nothing to do with the true value. Now, repeat customers, referrals, that have to do with actual value, because if I come in and work with you, or I ordered your meal and the burger wasn't good, I'm not gonna come back, right? But to make that initial buying decision, it's not based on the actual value. So you could say, I have a great product, I have a unique service, who cares? What matters is, what's their perception of value in the marketplace? And if you're not careful, someone who has less experience, less knowledge, less skill set, and less time in the business, who has better perception of value, will take your customers and they'll disappoint them, which now makes your job leader so much harder, because now people are super skeptical because they've been screwed on. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And I think that, hold on one second, hold on, you're in trouble.
Thing of what big almost was power of language and how we see ourselves and what we feel the audience or the client wants and how we describe it. Really just going one step further to look at what's with it, what's in it for you, and looking at the benefits versus, yeah, well, if you raise that, why is that going to work? What's that going to be? Really step. It's really powerful.
Language is the most important thing in marketing. When those of you that attend speaking in sales, Master with Dan Clark, he says something that I love. He says, make it that every word pays its own way. If every word you used had to have a value, that it had to pay for itself, so that you had to like wordsmith to make sure that it made you money, how would you speak? You'd make sure every single word counted. So make it that every word pays its own way. Don't just wow.
Mine was the IGHL, but your entire thing is on GHL and whether or not you use it. Like all the spike files, all of the copy paste, all the stuff that's proven 100 times over, all the stuff that's so impressive, and I get to copy paste and I get to level up my own experience by writing the coattails. It's plug and play for me.
So this is how I came up with this, right? It's you saying, wait, why would you give all that value for free? Right? Because I'm not charging any different than when someone would have to have the same CRM, but now I'm making $50,000 with a brand of the market that I've had to build for myself, just give it to you. Because if I give you so much value, you'll never leave me.
Right. And I'll refer typically.
And you will do what you just did right now, is just share it and refer it, because it's such high value. Remember what I said, your goal is always to provide more value. How can you figure out a way to provide even more value so that you outvalue your competition? And that's what, now, I didn't say I'm secret formula, nothing. I just said, hey, I'm going to give you all of this, and I'm not going to charge you $1 more. It's an irresistible offer.
But it's what you're producing, right? It's
100%. It's
what
what
I
I do.
give you this, and then I'm just taking second hand it over here, right? It's what you're using.
Yep. All right, anyone else? hold on one second. Just mute my-
So I just wanted to add that, you know, on the perceived value comment, which I thought was amazing, is that that because someone has done a lot of work on their perceived value, when you give actual value to clients, like if you haven't worked on your perceived value, their actual value could be less. You know, so it's just, it's
But everything that we just said,
Yes.
did you hear what he just said? Repeat it again.
okay, so because you know, because you haven't worked on your perceived value, then you pour out your value to a client that the actual value that they get is less.
Their perception of your actual value is less, and because your perception of value isn't as high.
And your actual value is less. Your actual value is less because they be like, oh yeah, I worked with this guy, Mark, well, he's kind of small, and then I worked with this guy, super famous, and you know, like it's different.
Like saying I work with Tom Robbins.
Like even
I say whether he was good or not,
Yeah.
the fact that his perception of value makes me look good. That's the crazy part of what I'm trying to like get across to you. That this is happening whether we agree with it or not. It's like gravity. You don't have to like it. It's going to happen no matter what. If you keep focusing on elevating your perception of value, all of a sudden intrinsic benefits start coming your way that will never come if you're just a normal person. Now, it also doesn't change who you are. We're just changing the perception that people have. Right? Before I had 4 books, I'm still the same person. But the perception of me after 4 books is completely different. Before being on Forbes, entrepreneur, Miami Herald, entrepreneur.com, I'm still the same person, but my perception. And here's the best part. It doesn't even matter if you go read the article or if you even open the book, the perception of values today. That's the crazy part. And I don't know any other branding or marketing person that actually teaches this. I know people who do graphic designs. I know people who do videos. I know people who do web pages. I know people that will talk about branding and it's really Instagram and social media. But I don't know anybody that talks about the psychology of what's actually happening to building trust, credibility, and authority. Has anybody seen anybody online that like they're diving into this? Because I personally haven't. But it's what's happening and why people like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone and all these other people, obviously with big advertising dollars behind it, right? Let's be clear. Without
Slowly, right?
well, correct. I love it. The Grant Cardone's overnight success, 15 years of making.
Right, so true, so true.
Car sales, he was grinding for 15 years until that snap happened, and then everything is a snowball after that, right? So keep that in mind. Nobody just becomes an overnight success. Nobody. Microphone?
What you said about you're the same person as you were before you wrote books or whatever, I tend to disagree with that just because going through the motion of the work of making 4 books, it changes you. You are better. I mean,
Well, I will say this, and thank you for bringing that up. I mean, I'm the same person, like nothing's changed in who I am, but my confidence has gone up. I mean, come on, I know. I can do that, right? Like, so confidence has gone up. You know, the fact that I look and people are, oh, you can see like I did it, whether I paid for it or not, right? You didn't pay for it, I did, I had to do all the work. So it does change how your energy operates because your confidence does go up. There is 100%. I don't even wear a suit anymore. I got 50 videos of me wearing a suit. I've already done it. I've already made millions of dollars. So I'm not like trying to get there, which is funny because you see how people evolve and change. Grant Cardone now wears his little 10X t-shirts and stuff like that. When he was 15 years ago during car sales, he was wearing a suit and tie, baby. So whatever people tell you is a bunch of BS because who you are after doing all of this is not who it took to get there. Right? And I always make the joke, Mark Zuckerberg, was always in his t-shirt and his hoodie. But now he's in court in a suit and tie, right? Because it doesn't matter how you act, it depends on the environment that you're in. Right? And when you, excuse my French, when you have, I don't give a fuck money, you can wear whatever you want, it doesn't matter what people say, right? But until you have that, then you do wear the nice suits and you do all that other stuff to perceive the perception of value to get you there. Because anybody that tells you you don't have to do that is full of crap. Because you do have to, you know, you don't go to a wedding in shorts and a t-shirt, do you? Because in the right context, you have to step up to the plate. So when you're going to a business event and you want people to feel a certain way about you, you're actually going to dress the part. Right? And you ask, well, wait, why aren't you? Well, because I already did it. I already got the videos. I already got the cards. I got the awards. I can just talk about it and show a video of me wearing the suit and doing stuff. I don't want to do it anymore. But I had to do it for many, many years, for 20 years.
So, what I'm hearing and what I've come back around the second time we're taking this is ACT, ACT, which is why I'm here for, authority, act with authority, act with credibility, which builds trust, because in that act is the action where people will take an action and will buy from you.
I'm going to switch it.
Take it. As yours.
Oh, thank you. I love it. Forget TSA, ACT, ACT. Thank you. I love it. See, I'm always doing it too, right? That's great. All right, anybody else? Yes. And again, I'm gonna pause you. Just realize, because if you do events where there's digital, remember what I do is I'm having people share their biggest takeaways, which re-amplifies what they're getting, shares it with other people, because they might say, I love that idea, but guess what? She just gave me something of value by sharing. So it's to yourself, it's to others, and then it becomes documented. Sure. Everything you do, remember me saying, what are your 3 results? Because it'll change your life. Because you're going to do the work anyway. But now you're 3 times doesn't. Yes, ma'am.
So similar to what Linda was saying, we were having a conversation during lunch, but I feel like I've done a lot, I've been in the industry for like 10 years, in creating marketing, social media, other things. And I feel like kind of breaking it down makes it like, duh. But to teach that to people and have them realize that where, you know, we were talking about unconscious competence at lunch, or we've just been doing this, you know, like, we're always gonna be students, but how you break it down has been great. Because it's just like a duh, like, this is so simple, and that's what you have to do, is just simplify everything. And I feel like for me, I've been waiting to have all the value before I do something. Where now it's like, duh, like, I can create my own value because I am my value. So other
Beautiful. Right. Love that. Thank you for sharing it. All right. So I'm going to have everybody, if you didn't already, go to RayPerez360.com and click on the Team Ray Perez Branding Workbook. And it's under the resources tab. It should look like this. Okay. Now you can download this if you want on your end. But we're gonna do some work right now. And it's the second page, which is the implementation plan. Implementation plan has 4